Hello and welcome to Zoom Master Part 3, Toolbar Tricks. My name is Wendy Darris and I'm doing a series of 8 Zoom presentations to help you become a Zoom Master. During this presentation, we're going to talk about the toolbar tricks. We're going to master chat, pop-out windows, how to find and manage your saved chats and recordings, settings related to chat and recordings, how to enable or disable a waiting room, and how to record. So let's go to Zoom. Okay, well, let's start with chat. As I've said before, the chat feature is at the bottom of your screen on your toolbar, and this is a window of its own. So if you click this one time, it will open, and it can appear anywhere on your screen. As a matter of fact, it's going to go to wherever you had it on your last Zoom meeting. What's good to know is you can grab the taskbar up here, or the window up here, the bar, and you can move it anywhere you want on the screen. In addition, you can grab the bars on the side and make it wider, or you can make it longer. This will help if you want a bigger font on your chat message. And what's really great is if you have more than one computer screen, you can actually move this chat window to another screen and make it enlarged so you can keep this chat box open during your entire Zoom meeting or class. And the thing is, you always want to practice getting onto Zoom at least 10 minutes early. Check your microphone again, check your video and your internet connection, make sure you're in the right meeting room, and then immediately open your participant window and your chat window. Keep these open at all times. Now, a little review. You have down here two, and the chat window is just chatting with someone's just like texting on your phone. Only you get the whole room, the option to talk to people privately or everyone. If you're going to send something to somebody privately, you'll want to come to this drop down and you're going to want to check and find that person you want to talk to. And then you can send them something. But please remember to put it back to everyone or have the right person, because you have to manually change that for every entry you put in. Now, if I was in a meeting with 30 people right now, and this was my meeting in my chat box and it said everyone, it means that the host has blocked out the ability to private chat. And a host can do that. You can do that. So if you don't want your students or colleagues chatting and spending time offline with the rest of the group, then you can actually block that. Over here is File. And what this is share documents. And I caution sharing a Word document because sometimes it changes into Notepad and then it's not the format you want it to be. So a PDF is good, a GIF image, an image with GIF is PDFs, these are all good. So what you'll do is click that button and it will take you to your computer and you can go in and find whatever file you want to upload. This is a review, and you can put up, let's say, an image. See if I've got an image on here or a document. I will send this document. Now on my end, as the sender, I'm going to watch it upload, but I'm not able to download it again and grab it from chat myself. You as a participant or someone who's receiving this, it'll actually come up with download. You have to click that button and it'll download. Sometimes it'll download to your documents. Sometimes it'll download to your desktop. You'll need to know where your settings are of where these are being downloaded. See, I don't have an option now of actually downloading and retrieving that document. So make sure when you share something, it's the right document. You can also do images through here as well. Now these 3 little dots over here, that always means there is more. So we're going to open that up. And this particular meeting and how I set my settings, I will allow you to chat with everyone publicly and privately. That's what's checked. I can change that during the meeting. I can say nobody can chat. And then you're going to lose the option to chat. Or only private or only public. There's no reason to do only private, but you get what I'm saying. Now I can also enlarge this to take over my screen, and I caution you, don't do this unless you're putting it on a second or third monitor, because then you're going to have trouble finding your participant window and the rest of your buttons and controls. So we're going to make that small again. And you can also minimize it, and that puts it back down to the bottom. That means I can open it back up. All right, I'm going to open the participant window, and here's this. And we talked about this before. You can invite directly from your Zoom meeting. It'll go to your contacts. It'll go to different Zoom meetings. You can go to emails, and you can invite them directly. Copy the invitation link or the invite link rather than go out of your Zoom meeting, go into your email, go to your invites, and then forward that way. You can actually do it within your meeting. This More box, I also have controls here. And I can also merge to meeting window. Now I like this view, and that's usually what people are defaulted to. So when you open participants, it goes over here. When you open chat, and I'm going to do the same thing here, and I'm going to merge to meeting window. Typically you are already defaulted to that, and this is how it appears. And so it gets covered up easy, and you only have, a quarter or less of the screen for each one of these. And here's how you get it popped out. It's called popping it out to its own window so you can move it wherever you want and move it on a different monitor screen. You come to the drop-down box here, and here you go, popping it out. So now I have a window. I can do the same thing here and pop it out, and I have a separate window. Once again, if I want it merged with my screen again, I'm going to merge it. So that's another control for the participant window and the chat window. So the next thing we're going to talk about is, what about saved chats? And I will tell you, it depends on the host settings, but typically the private chats are even saved for the host. So they can go back and actually print and look at all the private chats. So there really is no private chat on Zoom. So keep your conversations very professional when you're on the meetings and in the classrooms. So you can save the chat. Now, the host can put down that you have the ability as a participant to save the chat. It's actually grayed out from what I'm doing right now. However, I can go into my settings and change that, and anybody who joins can save the same chat. Now, that's only going to be the public chat. The private chat can only be gotten through the host's account. So I want you to know that about chat. Now, I saved the chat. Where does it go? So I'm going to share my screen with you. This is what it looks like, the screen share, and I'm taking you to the internet, to my account. So this is my online account for Zoom. And over here's my profile. We'll talk about this in Zoom 4. We're going to talk about settings. But under my profiles, my meetings, the ones I've had, the ones upcoming, and if I want to schedule one, webinars, and then recordings. So I'm going to go into recordings. And here are all the recorded sessions I have that I can share by link to anyone who wants to watch it. I can download them, I can edit them, and this is where you're going to be doing that. So now I want to show you where to find the chats that you've saved. It's not going to be in the same place as the recordings. The recordings are actually within your Zoom account online, and that's where you can retrieve them, because you can also edit and work with them there. But what you want to do, it's going to be saved locally, your chats, locally to where your recordings are saved. So on your computer, down here, everyone has this folder, and this is called Explore. And this will tell you where all of your files are. So I'm going to open that, and over here on the side, under your PC, you're going to have a place called Documents. And within the Documents, Zoom has created a Zoom folder. And this happens on everyone's computer or device. So when you open that Zoom folder, these are all the downloaded and saved chats. Now you can put in the setting that the chats are automatically saved. Obviously I do. I'm on Zoom quite a bit. And when you open one of these chats, it'll give you the day and the time and the entire transcript. So I can open this. Now this meeting did not last very long, so this was not a great meeting to share. So let me find a bigger one. So we're going to go here, and this probably was a larger meeting. So this lasted from 1358 to 1451. Tells you who's on it, and if you have everybody enter the chat, who they are by name, what institution they're from, then you're going to have it for attendance. And we'll talk about that at a later date as well. Looking for a larger one. This is a good one. This should have a lot of information. This one was from 343 into 412. So this is where you find your saved chats. Now note that if you have in your account settings not to save the chats, they're not going to be saved. But this is exactly where they save it. Under your PC, under Documents, you'll find Zoom, and there they are. So let me get out of that. Alrighty, and now we're back. So that's where you find the saved chats and recordings. And Zoom Master 4 is going to go more in depth about more of this. But for now, I'm going to show you the waiting room. So I typically don't set up a waiting room. However, I could send someone to the waiting room even in the middle of a meeting. So the first thing I want to do is I've shared my screen with you again to my account. If you come down to your account, we're going to go through settings a bit. And there is a setting for waiting room, and it's one of the first ones. So when participants join a meeting, they will be placed automatically in a waiting room and require the host to admit them individually. So there's a good part to that, and then there is a not so good part to that. I do not have that selected. If I'm running late from another meeting, I don't want my participants to stay in the waiting room and wait for me to rush to get there. I want them to be able to enter and they can talk to each other and have a conversation, start the meeting without me even, and then I'll join when I can join. So I've set up my meetings to be like that. However, if I'm doing a professional development class, I will enable the waiting room because I don't want anyone in my room until my PowerPoint is up and everything is in place so we can start all at once. So that's can be selected here. You can set it either way. And this is a permanent setting, so it's going to stay that way for every meeting going forward unless you come in and change it. So everyone will go in the waiting room, or you can edit that and customize it. Users not in your account, so somebody that you didn't expect, users who are not and not part of certain domains. So you can actually narrow that down. You can customize the waiting room. So you can actually put your logo in here, add a description, and it's really, really nice. You can customize that, but I don't typically use it. So that's where you find waiting room. We're going to go ahead and go into schedule a meeting. So I'm going to go to meetings and I'm going to schedule a new meeting. I'm going to give it a name. So I'm going to say next meeting. And you can leave a description in there or you can leave it blank and select your day and time. Be careful of the AM PM. It defaults to PM, so you literally have to change it to AM if you want it to be AM. The other thing about the time is it only goes in 15-minute intervals, so you can't do a meeting from like 1 to 1:10. It will be in 15-minute intervals. Make sure you're on the right time zone. If it's a recurring meeting, let's click that, then how often will it occur? And I like it has lots of options. Do you want it weekly, monthly? And I'm going to say weekly, but every 3 weeks. So you can even do it on what's an interesting schedule. You can select it for a certain day. You can select it for so many occurrences. So I'm only going to do this for 6 weeks. So it's very customizable. Do you want them to register prior to entering the Zoom room? And we'll talk more about registration in Zoom 4. But what we're talking about here is if I require this, then they're going to have to register. And I can have them register once, or they're going to need to register every time I send out a registration. Okay, and you can choose, the person who's registering can choose to come to the whole series or only a particular event. So there's reasons to use this and there's reasons not to. It depends on what you're hosting. With security, here's where you put on the waiting room. If this is not checked, you're not automatically going to have your participants go into a waiting room. And if you require a password, you're going to have to click this button. It will give you an automatic password that you can then use for your invitation, or you can change it. I might say I want the password to be 123456 because it's easier for me to remember. So you can change it if you like. So I'm going to take the password off. Here's the waiting room. You can turn the host on and off, participant on and off for video. So if you don't want to see anybody, you don't want anyone to see anybody, you can turn it off. And they cannot turn their cameras on during the meeting. It's an option. If you're doing a large group, you may not want that. And then you may not want to see their video. And then you can select audio. Do you want people to be allowed to connect via telephone, their computer, both? And right now, many people are coming on the internet for the video portion, but using their phone to call in because their cell service is stronger than their internet and they won't be disconnected. So I personally think you should enable both, or you're going to have problems with people and their audio. Your meeting options. Like I said before, I don't like the waiting room, and it would be the opposite. So if I had waiting room selected, I wouldn't be able to select enable before the host. Kind of crosses each other out. But I have enable join before host, but I could take that off. Do you mute them upon entry? You can. But the thing is, if I'm the host and I'm muting everybody, then they can see each other because I've got enable host joined, but they can't talk. So if you're going to enable, don't mute. I actually have grayed out on my account, authenticated users. Here's where you pre-assign breakout rooms. You can import it from a CSV, or you can create rooms here. However many rooms you want, you can put emails already in it, names already in it. So when they come in, and this particular account can go up to 200 participants. It depends on what product of Zoom you have. There are different levels, different products, different features. Just depends on what yours is. The Chancellor's Office, Community Colleges, California, that Zoom product will allow up to 300 people on your actual Zoom call or class and up to 200 in a breakout room. However, does not offer webinar services. We don't have it on our community college platform. We can record automatically in the cloud. Now, when I set up my community of practice meetings or something I know that I'm going to share with the group after, when I set up the meeting, I will set it up to record automatically. I don't do this for all meetings because some meetings don't need to be recorded. And I do that so that we don't start a conversation and then forget to record. Zoom is now asking you in the latest update, and by the way, from the time I did Zoom 1 and told you how to update your Zoom, from that time to now, and it's only been a month, we already have a new update available. So please go to zoom.us and update the latest Zoom. They want to know if this is an instructional event or a non-instructional event. And right here, you can actually put in any of your co-hosts ahead of time. And I will do this if I know I've got back-to-back meetings. I'll assign a co-host that can go ahead and start the meeting for me while I'm waiting to get there. And then you can enable language interpretation. That's here. That's going to be a later Zoom. And then, of course, you want to save your meeting. You can copy this invitation, and that's how you can set it up. And then what I have is we can add to Google, Outlook, or Yahoo, and I've enabled it for all of them because everyone's using a different calendar system. I don't want anybody left out. So that is how you get the waiting room set up while you're on your meeting. So it's while you're setting up a meeting. All right, I am going to stop sharing here and I'm going to go back to the next page or the original page, and I'm going to show you how to record. So if I put automatically record this meeting in the cloud when I do my meeting scheduling, then it'll automatically do it. But if not, if I want to select when to record, I will just come down to the record button.
This meeting is being recorded.
And it will tell you out loud when it's being recorded. I can pause it at any time. And this is going to be up in the left upper corner where it says recording. If I want to pause it, I'm going to hit the pause recording button.
The recording has stopped.
And that enables me, we can have a conversation offline. We gave a break. You want to pause the recording if you're going to give a break or a stretch break, bathroom break, lunch break, and then you can start it.
This meeting is being recorded.
And then if you want to stop your recording, it'll give you a notice. Do you really mean that you want to stop this recording? And what will happen is once that recording is all buffered and ready to go on Zoom, it will give you an email notification that it's ready if you hit yes. And I usually do.
The recording has stopped.
To remind me that my recording is ready. I recorded it for a reason, to share. So I want an email to let me know when it's done. So it reminds me to go ahead and upload that to our site that's sharing videos, or to go ahead and email it. Once again, since I'm up in this corner, I want to show you that this security button here, allows you to go to your settings automatically. It'll tell you what version you're using. And this is the latest version, and this is August 20th of 2020, and it's 5.0.4. So make sure you're on your latest version. For post-video activity on Zoom Master 3, what you should do is set up a Zoom meeting for just you or a couple of good friends or colleagues so you can practice recording. Use the pause and stop start features, have everyone type into the chat box, upload images and files, then post Zoom, locate the video recording and chat, and share with your participants via email. Of course, we want everybody in the group to practice, so it's great if one would host one and then somebody else host one so you all get to practice. Second thing I'd like you to do is go to your account, and it's best online, and check basic and advanced settings for chats, waiting rooms, and recordings. And as always, use these videos as tutorials. You can pause and rewatch any of the videos as needed. Share the videos, stop the video and practice, and then watch for Zoom Master Part 4. I'm Wendy Darris, and I hope you enjoyed this Zoom Master.